There is a quiet fear inside the one team whose entire job is to catch everyone else's mistakes, that maybe they are the next job the machine deletes. Every headline gives the same lazy answer. The robots are coming. Update your resume. So let me give you the honest answer instead, the one that is actually useful. By the end, you will know the two things AI is already doing to internal audit, the one thing it structurally cannot do, and exactly which auditor should be worried. So, first principles. To know if AI can replace an auditor, you have to know what an auditor is actually for. In a bank, there are 3 lines. The first line owns and runs the risk. The second line, risk and compliance, challenges it. And the third line, internal audit, independently checks the whole thing and reports straight to the board. That independence is the point. The auditor exists to give one thing the business cannot give about itself, an honest opinion the board can trust. Here's the part people miss. The auditor's real product was never the testing. It is the opinion at the end, the signed conclusion that says, "We looked and here is what we found." Everything before that, pulling samples, ticking numbers against evidence, is just how they earn the right to that opinion. Keep that split in your head, the grunt work and the judgment, because AI treats them completely differently. Start with the grunt work, because this is the part AI genuinely takes. For a century, auditors could only test a sample, a few dozen transactions out of millions, and trust the rest were clean. Analytics and AI flip that. Now you can test the full population, every transaction, and let the model flag the strange ones. Reconciliations, matching invoices to contracts, first draft findings, the tick and tie work that ate a junior's week, the machine does in minutes. And this is where the fear comes from, because that grunt work is where junior auditors used to spend their first years. If a machine does the tick and tie, what is the junior for? Hold that thought, because it is the real question hiding under will AI replace auditors. It is not about the profession disappearing. It is about which part of it you do. Now the part AI cannot touch. The opinion at the end is not a calculation. It is an act of accountability. When an auditor signs a conclusion, a human being is standing behind it to the board and to the regulator. A model can search a million rows and surface the odd ones. It cannot be the person who is answerable when the call is wrong. It has no independence to protect and no professional skepticism, that trained instinct to distrust the number that looks too clean. And this is not just principle, it is the rulebook. The global standards for internal audit were rebuilt, 5 domains, 15 principles, effective in 2025, and they still require a risk-based plan, real evidence, and a human-owned opinion. In a German bank, Ma-Risk and the Banking Act make internal audit mandatory and independent by law. None of that quietly hands the sign-off to a model. The evidence can be machine-made. The judgment cannot. And then it turns around completely, because the bank is now full of its own AI, in credit scoring, in fraud, in customer decisions, and someone independent has to check those systems. That someone is internal audit. There is even a dedicated AI auditing framework for exactly this. The EU AI Act demands human oversight of high-risk systems, and the auditor is who confirms it is real. So AI does not empty the audit plan. It adds a whole new thing to audit. So here is the honest answer. AI is not deleting the internal auditor. It is moving them up, off the tick and tie, and onto 2 things only a human does: forming the judgment the machine cannot own, and auditing the machines themselves. This is the same conclusion the big professional bodies keep reaching. The tools change. The job, an independent human standing behind an opinion, does not. But do not hear this as nothing changes, because one auditor really is at risk. The auditor whose entire value was doing by hand exactly what the model now does in minutes. If your skill is ticking and matching, the machine is faster and cheaper. If your skill is judgment, skepticism, and knowing what the numbers do not say, you just got a very powerful assistant. Get that wrong and the finding lands on someone else's desk with your name off it. So the one takeaway, do not ask whether AI replaces auditors. Ask which auditor. The one who ticks boxes is competing with a machine that never sleeps. The one who judges, who stays independent, and who can now audit the AI itself is more valuable than ever. If breakdowns like this help you stay on the right side of that line, The free Reg AI brief newsletter is where the next one lands. I will see you there.